Hello, my exuberant English learners. Welcome back to a very important topic, how to ask questions using how.
In this video, I am going to teach you the difference between how long time, how much time, and how many times. Students often confuse these four expressions.
I am Syed Alauddin from the Lingua Utopia. A question is an interrogative expression often used to find out or confirm information. How is an adverb, and the how most commonly means in what way, in what manner, or to what extent. We generally use to ask about, to inquire about length, area, dimension, quantity, quality, amount, somebody health, or degree. We use how plus an auxiliary verb plus a subject plus verb to form a question. How was the party last night? How was your trip? How do you usually go to work? How did they play? How are you feeling now? Hey, how are you doing? And many more. We use how plus adjective plus auxiliary verb plus pronoun or noun to know about something. How tall are you? I am 1 meter 80 centimeter. How big is the house? How old are you? How old is your mother? How old is your mother? How far is it from here to the airport? How old is she? I did not know how much to bring. How much was the meal? How many people were there? We use how plus adverb plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus verb according to the tenses to ask a question. For example, how often do you use your car? How often do you go swimming? How long have they been married? How often do you get to your college at weekends? How is used to express surprise, pleasure, etc. in exclamatory sentences. For example, how kind of you to help. How he wished he had been there. We use how in exclamatory sentences like how plus subject plus verb and so on. For example, how I love real Italian ice cream. How about? It is used when asking for information about somebody, something. For example, I am not going. How about you? How about is used to make a suggestion like, for example, what about dinner? How about a break? How about going for a meal? Or how about we go for a meal? How can you? How could you? You use it to show that you think that somebody's behavior is very bad or you are very surprised by somebody's behavior. For example, Andrea, how could you after all they have done for us? Oof, how can you eat of all that stuff? Oof, how can you eat that stuff? How could you deny? How can you come? How can you accept this? How could you forget this? How come? We use how come to show that when you do not understand how something can happen or oh what is the reason that. For example, How come you told me? How come you never visit us anymore? You owe me some money. How come? I think you owe me some money. How come? If Andrea spent 5 years in London, how come her English is so bad? How do you do? This expression is used when you meet somebody for the first time. You say it as a formal greetings. How do you do? And they reply in the same way. How do you do? The usual reply is also how do you do? How is that? This is used to ask a reason why. How is that? This is used to ask the reason for something. For example, I left the work early today. How is that? That means why? How is that is used when asking somebody's opinions. For example, I will tuck your sheet in for you. How is that? Comfortable? 2 o'clock on the dot. How is that for punctuality? How is that possible? How is that going outing today?
So let's look at some of the differences. So I have here a question. I actually have 3 different sentences here. One of them is right, 2 of them are wrong. Okay, so let's look at these together. The first one, how long time have you been here? The second one, how long have you been here? And the third one, how many time have you been here? So one of these is correct. Which one do you think is right? If you said, how long time have you been here? That's incorrect. This one, it's wrong. Number 2, how long have you been here? If you said this one, you are correct. This is right. What about the last one? How many time have you been here? This one is also wrong, but we can make it right if we add an S. So let's go over each of these so you can find out why some of these are wrong and why some of them are right. To get started, let's look at how long. So when we ask somebody how long, we are asking them about time. Okay, we want to know the amount of time for something. So for example, how long have you been here? I want to know maybe how many minutes, or maybe I want to know how many hours you've been here. Okay, if I ask you, how long have you lived in England? An answer would be a number that has to do with time. You might say 5 years, 4 weeks, 2 months, okay? So when we ask how long, the answer and what we want to know is about time. Minutes, hours, days, months, weeks, years, okay? So let's look at another example. How long have you lived in Spain? The answer is going to be something about time. 3 years, okay? You'll notice not always, but many times we use how long with the present perfect. It's possible to use it with the past tense, the simple past, and also the future, but you will often see it with the present perfect. How long have you been married? How long have you worked here? How long have you studied English? Okay, so a lot of the questions you probably want to ask somebody, you're probably going to use how long have you? Okay, very common way we ask questions. So what about how long time? Can I say that also? Can I say, how long time have you lived in Spain? Or how long time did you sleep on the plane? No. If you're asking how long, you don't need the word time, okay? We never say in English, how long time. Many students say how long time, but this is not correct. The correct expression, how long, not how long time. All right, so now let's look at how much time and how many times. Okay, so we've talked about how long, which is good, how long time, which is bad. Now let's look at how much time. I think this is why many students get confused. I think they confuse how long and how much time. And as a result, they create how long time, which is incorrect. So how much time actually is pretty much the same as how long. When you ask how much time, you want to know about the amount of time. You want to know about maybe it's minutes, days, weeks, months, years. It's the same as how long. Okay, so for example, how much time does it take to get to work? I could also say, how long does it take to get to work? They have the same meaning. Or, how much time have you waited? How much time have you been in line for? Okay, so the answers to these questions are going to be about time. How much time does it take to get to work? For me, it takes 1 hour. How much time have you waited in line? I've waited in line 5 minutes. Okay, so for both how long and how much time, they're pretty much the same. In conversation, we usually use how long. Okay, you can use both, but native speakers are more likely to use how long. So if you're trying to decide, do I use how much time or how long is more natural and it's more common, okay? But they mean the same thing. Now, here is another area many students get confused. How many times? How many times is not the same as how much time. The words how and time are the same, but these have different meanings. First, before I tell you what this means, I want you to notice the word time and time here. With how much time, is there an S? No, there is no S. But for how many times, there always is an S. We don't say how many time, we say how many times with an S. So this has a different meaning than this. This is different because when you ask someone how many times, you want to know the number of events, not the time, the number of events. So you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So for example, you might say, how many times did you watch the movie Titanic? Some people watch the movie once. Some people watch the movie twice. Some people watch the movie 100 times, maybe even 500 times. Okay? So how many times did you watch the movie Titanic? How many times did you eat today? Maybe if you had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you ate 3 times. How many times have you been to the museum? I've been to the museum 5 times. Okay?
My dears, do you want to become super brilliant speaker? So do not forget to subscribe the Lingua Utopia. I will see you soon for another topic. Bye for now.